Okay, we're going to go ahead and create the school logos for the schools. And we're going to do that with everything that you're going to get in this folder here. You have the school logo creation Excel open right here. Has a set of instructions. We're going to go through those and go ahead and create the images. So the first thing you're going to do, and the first time you run this, you're going to need to take the actions and the styles right here, these two steps here, actions and styles. With Photoshop, you can double click these and they will install. And then the next thing we need to do is within the actions, we need to go ahead and save the chains and in the chains and rings folder. We're going to open this up. We're going to open up the actions here. And for both the silver and gold, we're just going to double click, make sure we're in the folder, the school logo creation folder, inside of the change and rings folder. We're just going to overwrite that, hit yes, hit OK. That will change the destination to be the correct directory. And you just do that with the second one for the gold here, save, overwrite, and that will fix that. And then the next thing you need to do is the other action, which is the fill charms. So what you're going to do is go back here. You're going to open up one of the charms here, and you're going to go ahead, close both of these. You're going to open up the fill charm, and both actions here, the save here. You're going to make sure you're in the correct folder. It should already be there, but just go ahead, overwrite that. And then same with the black and gold, overwrite that one. Okay, and then you have the correct directory for both these actions here. And then the next thing we're going to do is turn on image assets. So what you're going to do, we're going to open the file, which is going to be here. And it's going to actually ask us to link that. So that's actually our, before we do that, we're going to have to copy and paste you're going to get a folder that's going to be the name of the school. This is Cypress Creek High School. In Logo PSDs, we're going to take those out of Logo PSDs. We're going to copy them, paste them into the Logos PSD folder. And these are from the previous, you can see these four here have a 1. These stay in here, but these 7 here are from the previous school. So we're just going to delete those and paste these. And you want to make sure you want to delete all of them, because some of the schools will have 1 logo, some of them will have 2, some will have 3. This one has 3, but it's only for the ring and earring. It doesn't have 3 for the necklaces. You can see it only has 2. So you don't want to leave any of the previous logos, because there may be a 3rd logo that you don't want from a different school. All right, let's go back here. Now we're going to, before we turn on the image assets, we need to go ahead and relink. So we're going to relink to that same folder that we just pasted them in. So we're just going to, the first one here that you're relinking is 1DC 2020. We're going to link that 1DC 2020. And you'll see here, you actually have a bunch of check marks, because it actually found all the other files because they're in the same folder together. So we'll hit OK, and you'll see this will update. So we'll wait for this to update here. All right, so it updated. We have our new logo, but we don't have the correct color yet. We're going to do that here in a second. So now we're going to move on to the actual actions, which we're going to do every time now. So we're going to copy and paste the school files. We just did that because it prompted us to. And then we need to choose the corresponding school in the Excel, and then copy and paste the rename, copy and paste the cells to rename the files. So what we're going to do, this is Cypress Creek High School. Okay, you're going to get the cells here. You're going to copy these. And then we're going to go ahead here to the rename logos folder. We're going to edit this bat file. And then you're just going to select all and then paste. You're going to paste over everything in there. Now it says Cypress Creek. So we'll close that and save it. And then let's go back here, see what's next. We already did open the file. Now we're going to need to, in Photoshop, we're going to go ahead and get the school colors and put them in the foreground and background colors in Photoshop. So this school is maroon. We're going to look here. We have Cypress Creek High School. This is actually supposed to be maroon and silver. I'm going to go ahead and change these so you have the correct colors. But it's maroon, silver, and then you have the maroon here. And then we'll go ahead and paste that in the background. The background color is the color that is the main part of the logo, and then you have the highlights, which is usually the smaller part of the logo, or the inside of the kind of the detail of the logo. So that is the maroon. We'll grab the silver, copy that, paste that here. Okay, so now we have the foreground and background color of the logo from this from the Excel spreadsheet that is matched up. So now we're going to run our action for the fill charms with the foreground and background color. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Some logos will have a black background, and those you would want to use the separate action for that because there's different effects. So, but with this one, we're going to use the foreground and background color because it's not using black. So we'll go ahead, automate, batch. We're going to choose the folder, which is logo PSD files. And then we're going to choose the correct set, which is creating school logos. The correct action, which is fill charm with foreground and background color. And we'll let that run. And that will go ahead, and you'll see here that will change that logo to be the correct maroon and silver. So it'll go through here and change all of the logos. Okay, so next, optional step, because when you have highlights that are gold, you will need to run the gold chains or silver chains. So to do that, these are silver, but we'll go ahead and just show you how to run that. So it's the same set. You're going to choose silver chains, rings and copy. I'm sorry, rings, chains and rings. And then you're going to put it on the chains and rings folder. And that will go ahead and change all of the, we're going to click OK here, and that will change either to gold or to silver, whichever color is needed. And then let's see here. We already relinked the photos, the PSD files. They are linked. There is sometimes where you may need to link them at this point. You'll get a red icon here that they won't be linked. This is just not updated. So to get rid of that, you can update all the modified content, and that will go away. But if you have something that's not linked and it's getting errors to raster size the image, you're actually just going to relink it by right-clicking here and relink the file. But you should do it at the beginning as you saw before. And then now part of this is also resizing it. So we'll go through and resize the logos, as well as delete any of the groups that we're not using, as this I believe has 2 logos. Yes, and the third one is from a different previous school. So we're going to go ahead and we'll delete those as we go through. So we will go ahead, start at the top of the flex ring. So when we do this, we have a guide here that will go ahead and act as a guide for how big we want these logos. So you'll see here you have 2 layers. The top layer you're going to use as the one you want to size. So this is actually, we'll make it just a tiny bit bigger, just to kind of fill up that yellow square there. And that looks good. Now this second one we don't need to do anything with. I believe this third one we will. So we're going to size this one. This one looks good. We're going to move on to the second one. This one, it's the same thing. We'll just make it a touch bigger. That looks good there. Actually, just leave it. We'll just leave it touching the corners there. That actually looks fine. And then the third one, that looks actually just kind of fine the way it is also. We'll just make it a touch bigger just to show you how this works. And this kind of looks a little bit smaller than the other ones. So we'll just do it a touch bigger. So now you'll see what happens is these are no longer the same size. You can see the second layer is the original size. So what we're going to do is just create a copy using Control J. We'll go ahead and grab the layer mask and the effects. Okay, and we're going to drag that from the logo that's smaller. We're going to delete that, but we're going to want to drag this new layer, the copy below. So now what you'll see is you have a shadow on the inside where the ring is here, just to give it a little bit more depth and more realistic. And you're not going to need to do that for all of them. It's just going to be the logos that has an inside area here, which is showing the ring. These two, you don't need to do that, the bear and the CC, because there's nothing showing on the inside. It's just, as this one has some showing on the inside here with the ring, you do that just to give it a little more depth, a little more realism.